All right, let's go. The letter A is perfect for a house. I have to say, I have to admit it's perfect for a house. Let's say hypothetically you get a little ladder in here, you know, you get a little ladder. Boom, boom. You're perfectly protected. Or maybe the more risky option that some people do, they do propose. They say that you could just walk up the side, climb up the side, and then hop in, which protects you from burglars and like people trying to steal your anything. I don't know what you have. I don't know you personally, but so boom, diagonal rain protected, vertical rain protected. Last but not least, a lot of people don't consider this, flooding protected. It's basically like the perfect home, I have to admit, which is why this is going into S tier immediately. Okay, that is definitely an S tier home style, although it is more on the expensive side, I do have to admit. Next, A. Okay, I have to say, chill spot up here, and then another chill spot down here to lay down. How well it's protected against the elements, you might wonder? Well, you know, we can just reuse the old one, right? Boom, perfectly protected. Although I do have to admit, the person at the top of the house might have to deal with some rain tracking down here and then going into the house a little bit. But overall, they should be pretty protected. You know, just stay back a little bit, type thing. So honestly, home for two. It is small, but almost perfect. So I do also have to put that into S tier. I have to admit, it is definitely a more S tier style of home. All right, next going on to the letter B. Letter B is I have seen people so the letter B. A lot of people consider this to be the perfect home, and honestly, I'd have to agree. I have to agree that the letter B is basically the perfect home. If it's a family of four, basically, as long as you're willing to share some room, and honestly, protects from all the elements. You know, we can just use this as an example. All the elements. It is a little bit lower to the ground though, so not much flooding protection. I do have to admit, not much flood protection. So I don't know if it's great for a single person, but definitely a lot of space. You know, you could use the top for storage. So honestly, I might. But this is controversial. A lot of people say that B, you know, has some downsides just because of how large it is, how expensive it is. But you know, if we're not truly factoring cost here, I do have to say it is better than A mostly. Okay, but you know, your mileage may vary. It sort of depends on like your use case. You know. Okay, next, lowercase b, throw all out the window. I think this is one of the worst. Now, why do I say that? Because you can't put anything here, man. This is all curved. The only thing you can do is like lay down, maybe, you know? Maybe, if you're feeling crazy, super crazy, I have to admit, super crazy, you could install like a shelf up here, put some stuff in here, maybe. But we're just talking about base models, so we're not even going to count that. Okay, we're not going to count that. You see, kick all these people out. You're not going to count that. You can't really chill up here. This top part's basically for no reason. It's just a waste of resources. You know, you can fall down, hurt yourself. Okay, you know, fall down, hurt yourself. Nobody wants to see that. Okay, like you know, you know, I know there's a lot of fear around the lower case B house because you know there has been some, you know, social media things happening. You know, where people will, you know, take pictures of and post videos of people falling off their B house, and you know. A lot of imagery like this you'll see, but I don't think it's the worst personally, but I do think it is pretty bad overall. Really can't store anything. Basically a waste of space. So I'm going to put this one into D tier because there is worse. There is worse. I have to admit there is worse, but that one's going to D tier. Sorry for the little bit of a rant there, but it is going to D tier. Next, capital C house. More of the same, like, you know, bad things, but a lot more space, a lot more to do. You do have a nice little, like, lookout area, you know, basically a built-in window. Have seen some people put a door, whoops, wrong color. Put a door here, and I do have to admit, door here's pretty smart, pretty good. Stops all the water damage. Now the water damage, you know, let's just get into it. Pretty much good, except if, you know, right here, I flip it around, boom, a lot of problems right here, right? A lot of water getting in. People don't want that. You don't want that. I don't want that. Have seen a lot of people, you know, talking about their house flooding with water because it comes through the side, then it just floods, and then you're kind of screwed, right? Basically useless at that point. You know, you can drain it, you can tip it over, but you know, overall, have some people say it's a pretty bad situation. So I'm going to put the C house in the C tier. Ironic, I know, but overall, not the best. Now, lowercase c. What do I have to say about that? Just a worse C house, honestly. Just a worse C house. It is a little better for weather, but just a worse C house. So it's just going to go slightly lower. in the C category. Have to admit. Make that the same size. Boom. Next. Capital D. Capital D, very popular. Not for why you think, though. You can chill on the roof. You can ask people to chill on the roof, you know. You know, if you're having a party, people chill on the roof. People chill inside. You know, like, you're pretty protected from all the elements, you know. Water, just make sure no one's living on the top, obviously. But you're pretty protected. It is pretty close to the ground, though. So you will notice that it's not the best for water. You know, water can come up here, flood inside. But overall, you know, if you don't live in a, you know, place that commonly floods, it's usually pretty good. So have to admit, usually pretty good. Oh, whoops, I forgot to rank it. Usually pretty good. And that one is definitely going to be going in A tier. I think it's just an overall good house. A lot of storage, a lot of room, a lot of people can fit in the house and chill. So overall, it's pretty good. Next, we're going to be doing lowercase d. Now, the exact same bar for bar as lowercase b. I'm going to have to say it. All the same problems, all the same news around it. I've seen people saying, oh, actually, you know, this one's better because the Earth's gravitational pull. They're the same. Okay, don't lie to me. You know, don't. A lot of people on TikTok, they'll try and sell you. Okay, a lot of people bought really heavily into the hype of lowercase d and lowercase b houses. Now they're having to sell them off. Okay, so not good overall. Okay, next, A, B, C, D, E. The E house. Did not have to say the alphabet song. Okay, the E house. Do not buy this house. Why? Well, first of all, the top can cave in and cave down. Do not want that. You do not want that. I don't want that. Nobody wants that. Let me just give you a little bit of an example here. If I can do it. You know, just a little example. I've seen some people's houses do want one of these, where this part falls down. You know, this part falls over. Okay, so do not buy this house. Pretty bad house. You do not want your house falling apart. But if you must, it makes a pretty great party house. Okay, look at the amount of people you can get in here. All right, boom, 1, 2, 3. You know, copy that up there, copy that up there, even maybe a little fourth in there. All right, you can get basically 10 people in this house, all chilling, all having fun. But the fun stops when the house comes down, and you know, not great for flooding, but even worse, you know. These people up here aren't protected, and then any diagonal rain coming in, you're pretty much screwed. Okay, if you must buy this house, I recommend no people on the roof at all whatsoever. So no people on the roof, and also, you know, I recommend the 2-1 method, if you will, or the 3-2-1 method. You know, if you have to. So the 2-1 method, basically, what it highlights is that, you know, 2 people can be up here, 1 person can be down here, 1 person down here. They move down here if the rain does come down like that. Or the 3-2-1 method, if you must, 3 people on the roof, then these people can come down here, 1 here, 1 here. You all have to huddle up down here, but you are pretty much protected pretty well. So, you know, if you must, I do recommend the 3-2-1 method. It is good if you've already bought in the home, you know, just in case you have, you know. So overall, I'm putting E and F tier just because I've seen a lot of tragedies happen in this house. But overall, it's a pretty fun house if you do own it, unless it collapses, of course, and you die. That's not fun. Next, lowercase e. I think lowercase e is the perfect starter home if you're looking for, you know, your first home. I do think lowercase e is the best overall, of course. Why do I say this? Well, because if you come down here, look at that. Just, you're protected from everything. A little bit of flooding. Just don't get in a flood heavy area. You know, make sure when you get the house, make sure it's a good foundation. I have seen some of these houses start to roll away. We haven't even started talking about rolling away houses, but, you know, have some of these houses start rolling away. So make sure you're not one of them, but you can be down here. You can go up here, chill, fully protected from all the elements, you know. And also, you already have a built-in exit through this little place. You do kind of have to squeeze through, but you do have a little bit of an exit. And then also, last but not least, a lot of storage at the top up here. Let's just highlight the storage real quick. Oh, can we get that there? Okay, the storage, I know it's blue, but don't worry about it. That's the storage situation. Pretty good for the elements too. If the bottom does flood, just go to the top. Simple enough. Boom. I do think this is an insanely good, low-cost home. And for that reason, it will be going in A tier. You know, as controversial as that is, you know, it's not the best home, but it's usually very cheap, usually very good. Okay, next up is the F house. F house. I need to warn everybody. The F house is usually a pretty bad home. If you're not going to install correctly, it falls over. That's that. Okay, you can clearly see all the water issues that could possibly happen. It coming in diagonally, coming in from the side, coming from the top. Okay, Everybody's seen those water issues. Everybody knows about them. They're pretty simple. This part can flood and then fall down here. If there's flooding at the top, that's bad. Flooding at the bottom, you're screwed. Flooding at the top, everything is bad with the F house overall. It is a bottom of F tier. Would not buy. Okay, at all whatsoever. Would not buy. And then next, the lowercase f house. Okay, this house is a joke. I promise, it's a joke. Okay, I've seen people. They're trying to sell lowercase f houses. They say it's trendy. They say it's cool. You see a video on TikTok of somebody up there. You're like, oh my gosh, this looks so majestic. It looks so cool. You know. Then you realize, what if the elements happen? What do they do? How do they sleep? Well, I'm gonna have to draw how they sleep. I'm gonna have to draw a different model on how they sleep just to show you guys how bad this is. This is how you sleep in the F house. Check this out. This is how you sleep in the F house. This is how you do it. That's you, curled up in a ball. Okay, on the corner. If it's raining, curled up in a ball in the corner. That's how you sleep in the F house. Isn't that crazy? I think it is personally. It's pretty bad too. The elements, you could get lucky, you know, raining from up here, rain from the side. You could get unlucky, rain from here. You're basically screwed. You're toast. Flooding, bad. The house can fall over. Everything about this house is bad and is a joke, basically. So would I recommend it to anyone? No, I would not even recommend it to my worst enemy. That's why it's going on the bottom of F, all the way on the right side of F. Okay, fitting that the F houses are an F tier. I understand, haha, but it's not funny when people buy this house and waste all their money. Okay, next, the capital G house. This house is interesting. This house is interesting for a couple key reasons. You know, you can chill down this part, chill on this part. You know, you can fit multiple people in this house. Pretty good. Rain is pretty bad. Okay, rain can hit this house hard if it's coming in from the right angles. So just definitely be careful about that. Okay, if it's coming in from this side, could flood your house. So you basically have to install a door. But if you're willing to splurge and install a door in the front here, then it becomes a pretty good house. I do have to admit. So, you know, the G house, pretty good house if you're willing to install a door. If you're not, might be a problem. But overall, say the G house is a pretty good house. I'm gonna put it in B tier, you know, because you do have to do some extra little installations and stuff on your own time, which could be pretty cost effective, you know, when ink is not cheap. Okay, next, the lowercase G house. This house is terrible. It's bad. It's terrible. This looks great. You see this, you go, so much space in this room. That's great until you find out that the house basically always falls over. It's pretty hard for it not to fall over. You do have an entrance though. You do have a place to get in. Almost always falls over. And also, usually for some reason, they always dig it into the ground. I don't know why. So you're basically just living in like an A house. So like, just keep that in mind, I guess. It's basically a waste of money. Yeah, it's basically a waste of money. So don't buy this house. I'll put it in D tier because I'll put it in C tier just because it's not the worst thing you can do. If you have this house, don't feel bad about yourself. Not the worst thing you can do. And also, you're basically hooked into the ground. So shoot, you know, that's not the worst thing to happen. Oops, I need to do this. Okay, not the worst thing that can happen. Overall, pretty decent. Next, the H house. The H house, the fabled H house. Okay, this house used to be very popular back in the day until people realized that for some reason it's always flooding. The bottom, it floods. If it's raining from the top, you're screwed basically, because the bottom can flood and then there's nowhere to go. It used to be very popular because people said it protected you from heavy rains, because it kind of does, but also it basically doesn't. So, you know, if there's no risk of flooding, if you live on the top of a hill, pretty cool house, not even gonna lie. But if there's risk of flooding, you're basically screwed. So I'm gonna just put this in the bottom C tier. Not the worst, not the best. I'll put it in D tier. It's okay. You know, it's okay. Next we're gonna do is lowercase h. This house, it's all around pretty bad. Like, you know, I mean, the water basically matches, right? Like, you know, if you're down here, you're screwed. If you're up here, you're screwed. You could fall over, fall down, get hurt. Not good. You know, overall, it's honestly just worse than the original H. So I'm gonna just put it, you know, right next to it. Basically, it's not F tier, but it's basically just like a would not buy. The I house. Oh my goodness, dude, this house is a joke. There's a lot of memes on it, a lot of jokes, like people on TikTok saying they're gonna buy an iHouse because they're so broke. Yeah, it's pretty clear. No, I'm not even spelling it out for you. It's pretty obvious. It's terrible. It's F tier, but honestly, like, it's not even that bad F tier because, you know, nobody's gonna buy this one, right? It's pretty obvious. Lowercase I house. The same. I'm not wasting my time on this. All right, everyone knows this is the worst house. It's a joke. It's terrible. You know, the way F house is only over here because everyone, you know, some people, you know, try and convince people it's a joke. So, you know, I just want to make it clear that it's not a viable house at all whatsoever. So do not even try and invest in it. The J house. Terrible again. You know, no. The capital J house, F tier. Lowercase J house, F tier. The K house, on the other hand, this is where it gets interesting. So let's just throw these into F tier real quick. 1 second, just gotta get it right. You know, I just wanna, you know, make this tier list good. You know what I mean? Okay, the K house. You can chill on the bottom here. Pretty good chill spot. Not even gonna lie. Up here, pretty decent. But as we've seen with most of these houses, it's always the weather that gets you. It's always the weather. Okay, flooding. Flooding is usually a huge problem in every single one of these houses. Why is that? Well, it doesn't protect from flooding very well. And the same exact thing goes for the lowercase k house. The exact situation is a little bit smaller. It is a smaller model. That's okay. The L house, on the other hand, are protected from flooding. That's it. Terrible. Lowercase L house. It's the same as the I house. Terrible. The M house does get interesting though. So let's just sort these real quick. You know, let's get these houses out of the way. The 2K houses I'm gonna put in B tier because honestly I've seen some people make them work. You know, if you're not susceptible to flooding, they're a pretty cool house. They just look nice. You know, it's kind of like a sports car in a way. You know, like you're not trying to go 300 something miles per hour at all times. But these houses also terrible. The M house, honestly, I have to admit, this house is really cool. But there's really nowhere to do anything. So it's kind of like the sports car of houses. So I'm just going to put it at the bottom of D tier over here. Next, the lowercase m house. Once again, kind of the same situation. But if there's no flooding, 2 separate apartments. So I have seen this use the apartment complex. You know, the water situation is pretty obvious for this one. But as long as there's like no... as long as there's no risk of flooding, you know, you're pretty good, honestly. As long as there's no risk of flooding. I broke my software. Whoops. Let's move that down there. Boom. Okay. This house, so you've seen it as apartments before. Honestly, it's a pretty good investment. I know that Airbnbs for letter houses is kind of going down right now, but overall, I'd say it's a pretty good apartment house if there's no risk of flooding at all. So for that reason, I'm going to put it as B because we do need more high density housing in Letterland. So, you know, do have to throw that out there. Okay. JKLMN. Okay, N. The N house sucks. That's it. That's all you need to know. No risk of flooding. It's like meh at best, you know. You know, I already visualized the flooding. You can probably imagine in your mind, but it's like meh at best, have to admit. Lowercase n, kind of same situation. There's no risk of flooding. It's like meh at best, honestly. I think the earlier houses were more complex, but now we're getting to like some like the more basic houses, so it's kind of fun. And O. The O house, the fabled O house. I've seen people talk about this house saying it's their dream house. They're fools. Do not listen to them. They're fools. They're trying to sell you on something, all right? Because what does the O house do? It rolls. Okay, it rolls. It always rolls. Every single house rolls. I've talked about this a million times. Every single time the house rolls away, they're like, what? How could this happen? You're living in an O house, bro. Obviously, it's gonna happen. Okay, don't. Oh, I didn't expect to roll away, bro. It's an O house. What'd you expect? Oh my gosh, dude. I'm getting mad to think about these people, man. These people they're terrible when it comes to, you know, picking out houses. I'm just gonna put an F. Okay, it's terrible. Just don't do it. The P house in their hand. Okay, the P houses. Let me tell you, if you get somebody good to install this house, they're actually pretty cool. I'm not gonna lie. You can fit 2 people up here. No risk of the elements at all whatsoever. You know, nothing from on top, nothing from below. Okay, pretty cool houses. I'm gonna admit. Lowercase p house is basically the same as the A house, but without the extra space. It's honestly, it's better than the lowercase D and B houses. I'll be honest, just because you're kind of grounded more. You know, you basically can't tip over and fall. So honestly, I'm gonna rate these pretty high. I'll admit it. They're pretty cool. You gotta someone good to install it though, because they can fall over. But if you do it right, it's impressive. Okay, if you do it right, it's impressive. So I'm honestly gonna put this one S tier, and then I'm gonna do lowercase p and b tier maybe, because it's just not really use space. I'll be honest. All right, next, the Q houses. Okay, this same as lowercase p house. You know where that's going immediately. I don't need to explain myself any further. You know where that's going immediately. Honestly, it's a pretty good house. Okay, get rid of that one. The Q house in their hand. Obviously, you're protected from all the elements. We don't even need to review that. You have a lot of space. Not a lot of good space, but you do have like a little nook here. It's pretty cool. It's like the O house, but it doesn't roll away. Okay, so if you're looking for something like that, it's pretty good. Have to admit. Not great space-wise, but overall, I think it's pretty good. I think I'm gonna have to put it in bottom A tier, honestly, just because it just looks cool too. Honestly, I'm gonna have to admit. A, B, C, D, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M, N, O, P, Q, R. The R house. Basically, a house with more space. It's perfect. Everyone loves this house. Everybody loves this house. This house is amazing. Honestly, I'm gonna put it in front of these as well, just because it's that good. Oh, I need to with my arrow keys because Photoshop is not a great software. Okay, next, the lowercase r. Oh, the lowercase r house. This house is terrible. It is a joke. Anybody who tells you to buy it, they're lying to you. They're terrible people, and they want harm for you, actually. So, excuse me. Yeah, this house is terrible. Okay, next. S. The esteemed and famous S house. Honestly, this house is pretty bad overall, but its style and its sleekness, everyone loves it. Even though it is bad, why do they love it? It's kind of like a slide. It kind of looks like a little slide, which is kind of cool. You see it more like resorts and areas and stuff like that. You do need to get a good person to install it though, because there's a lot of risk. There's a lot of risk of wobbling and like it falling over, so you just gotta be careful of that. But overall, I'd say it's a pretty cool house. You know, just don't. If it rains, it shouldn't be like, you know, the house you have to live in. It should just be like more of a backup plan, more of a fun house. You know, there's a lot of people's second house they buy. So for that reason, I'm going to put it as C. Don't think it should be your first house, but some people do have it as a second house, second property, because it's just a fun house to be in. Next, lowercase s house. Terrible. You can't do anything in here, man. There's no reason to have this. You can barely fit. You have to like lay down, curl up. People want it because it looks like the big ass house. Looks like you're successful. Looks like you have a lot of money. But overall, just not a good house. So, gonna have to put that. Oh, gonna put that. Oh, gonna have to. I'll put that here. So yeah, don't get that house. The T house. Now, this house is pretty cool. I'll be honest. Pretty cool house. Okay, this is the most common outdoor house, you know? You're having a picnic, you know, just chilling. You know, someone has, you know, you go to their tea house, you kind of chill outside. It's not good against rain though at all, okay? It just isn't. I'm sorry. Okay, rain from the top, fine, but then it comes down on the sides, you know, not good. Not good at all. Okay? Side rains, you're screwed. Side rains are screwed. Flooding, you're screwed, okay? But it is a cool house to have outside. So for that reason, I am going to put it as as D, just because it's just kind of a cool house. Honestly, it's just a nice outdoor house. The tea house is a scam. Do not buy this. Obvious reasons. I don't even explain it to you. It's just obvious reasons it's bad. You know, some people say, oh, do you want to get a tea house? And you're like, yeah, sure, I'll buy a tea house. They give you the lowercase one. That's right. That's right. This happens to people. I've seen it before. It happens to people. Bad house. The U house. Why? Why would you buy? This house is terrible. We'll lowercase you at the same time. They're basically the same house. They're both terrible. They're both bad. Don't buy these houses. They're bad. Let's just get these out of the way real quick. We're running out of space in F tier. So I'm just going to move everything up a little bit. 1 second. There. The U houses are bad. Don't buy the U houses. They're bad. Right there. Perfect. Okay, don't buy the U houses. The V houses. They're just worse U houses. Don't buy these. Oh my gosh, I need more space in F tier because all these houses are so bad. These houses are terrible. Here, let's move everything. There we go. All those houses are really bad. Do not buy them at all. They're bad. Anyone tries something to you is scamming you. They're bad. Next. A, B, C, D, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M, N, P, Q, R, S, T, U, V, W. The W houses, for the same reason as the U houses, they're bad, except I know it's the same price as a V house, okay? It's actually the same price as two V houses because, you know, it's basically them combined. But you do have a little cool little down here area. And for that reason, they're going in D tier, okay? Because they're still terrible. There's nothing to do in here. You might as well buy literally any other house that offers, you know, rain protection from all elements, all angles. But, you know, if you must, they are there. And they do exist, you know. If you're spending a letter wheel or something, I guess it wouldn't be the worst thing if I land on the W house, you know. C D F G H I J K L M N O P Q R S T U V W A B C D F G H I J K L M N O P Q R S T U V W X. The X houses. Now, honestly, they're pretty cool, you know, for like little like sightseeing houses or something. If you really like looking outside, they're pretty cool. But you can only really fit 3 people. You can fall, die, not good, you know. Oh, whoops, I'm not zoomed in enough for you to see in this. Fall, die, they're overall not good. So, I have to say they're basically the same thing as the W house, both extra steps. They're the same price as 2 V houses, so they're even more expensive, and they're basically just worse. So yeah, don't buy those either, basically. Although they do offer like one little protection area from the wind and from the rain and elements. So don't be too worried if you own one, but just letting you know they're not good. Next is the Y houses. Honestly, they're pretty cool for like protecting from the elements. You could kind of chill up here if you wanted to. But it's pretty uncomfortable to chill up there. So overall, I'm gonna have to put these in D again. I know I'm just kind of throwing everything in D right now. I'm sorry, but you know, this later line of houses, you know, like they first came with the A house, everyone loved it, you know, and you know they slowly went to the H house, but this later line of houses just kind of gets worse and worse. You know, they kind of cheaped out on like the people, you know, I have to say. So don't feel too bad if you kind of got scammed by, you know, this later line of houses. But then they brought it all back for the Z house. A lot of people love the Z house. This is kind of the final iteration of the houses. You can chill in here, and then if there's rain coming from the side, if there's rain coming from the side, you can go, so rain coming from the side, like I said, you can go over to here and kind of relax, you know, and chill. Maybe like get up here, kind of chill in there. Rain come from this side, you're perfectly fine on, whoa, there's that for. Perfectly fine. Rain come from that side, you're perfectly fine over here again, you know what I mean? So like if it's over here, you're fine over there. You're pretty decent on flooding, honestly. Like, you know, people don't usually need like a lot of like flood protection, so you're usually actually pretty fine on flooding. So overall, a lot of people think that Z is the housing market's best work overall, and I'd have to agree. And also the smaller model, the lowercase Z, you know, is also pretty darn good. So overall, you're getting a pretty good deal on your houses with the Z model, which is why I'm gonna have to put it into S tier, because I do think it is the best iteration on sort of all the housing options overall. And that does conclude the tier list. There is my rankings. Feel free to comment below if you agree, disagree. That's it. All right. Hope you have a good day.